Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Jason Nunez, and let's queer up drag culture. Drag Race stars Mourn closure of London's beloved GAY bar, end of an era for queer London. One of London's most iconic LGBTQ spaces is closing its doors for good. GAY bar, a cornerstone of queer nightlife on Old Compton Street, is shutting down, marking what many are calling the end of an era for the city's queer community. The venue's owner, Jeremy Joseph, who also runs the legendary nightclub Heaven, announced the news on social media saying, quote, "Time to say goodbye to GAY bar," end quote, lamenting that Old Compton Street had lost that LGBTQ identity. He said, quote, "When I opened GAY bar, it was to be on one of the safest and most proudly LGBT streets, a place where you can be who you are and feel safe," end quote. He also recalled leading protest, watching Madonna perform, and joining the vigil after the Pulse Orlando tragedy in 2016. Joseph explained that the closure followed a rent review for Heaven nightclub. Though the review ended favorably, he said it forced him to focus resources there. He thanked supporters and vowed to make Heaven a second home for queer people. The announcement sparked an outpouring of love from the drag community. RuPaul's Drag Race star Peppermint wrote, quote, "Here's to another chapter together, my love. Thank you so much for everything you've done for our community," end quote. And Drag Race UK's Kyran Thrax said, quote, "My love, I'm so sorry. Proud of you for how you've handled all of this," end quote. The closure follows GAY Late's shutdown in 2023 and mirrors a wider trending of disappearing queer spaces in London. Yet, new venues like The Divine have emerged, and activists continue fighting to preserve historic bars like the Black Cap and the Joiner's Arms. For now, fans are mourning the loss of a bar that for decades provided safety, joy, and belonging to countless LGBTQ+ people. An enduring reminder of the importance of queer spaces, even as the city changes around them. You know, it's interesting that it's global. You know, we're looking local. We're looking at torn up sidewalks. We're looking at closing bars. You know, what's the fate of Twist? What's the fate of Hunters? What's the fate of Wilton Drive? Like when this starts hitting home, we'll start realizing, but truly, it's now more than ever, we need those queer spaces. It doesn't have to be a bar with alcohol. It can be an art studio. It can be a real estate office. It can be a chamber office. It can be the LGBTQ visitor center. Queer spaces are needed now more than ever. And it's super sad to see this global icon taken away, the GAY bar. I don't want to think what's next for us, especially as we hone in on Fort Lauderdale, Wilton Manors, you know.
But we are seeing it, you know, we're seeing, you know, traditionally the history is that gay people move into sort of rundown neighborhoods, they fix them up, it becomes the gay neighborhood, and there's an entertainment district, and then the double wide strollers start appearing on the sidewalks, and the jog strollers, and and it's like, that's part of the problem, is that we're making neighborhoods safer for everybody. So it is a history. We are seeing that. The secret is finding a way to keep those places. Like I'm thinking, obviously Wilton Drive. I'm thinking of North Halsted in Chicago. I mean, we saw it in DC. DuPont Circle is not the gay mecca it used to be. It moved to another neighborhood. So it's happening all over.
I don't know, like sometimes we're not necessarily making it safer, sometimes we're just making it whiter, so rich white people are more comfortable. But like often we're accused of being gentrifiers, and like we're not. Like when you actually look at our income, like we're just trying to go to a place where we can survive. Like the people who are like, oh, I can just buy that whole building and not bat an eye because it's a cool new hip place. That would be a gentrifier. But you know, on gay bars, you know, it's hard because like it's hard to compare what's going on in the U.S. to England. But England oddly has weird rent and housing and property issue that similarly mirror the United States. You can blame Thatcher. You can almost always blame Thatcher for something. But like, it's hard seeing where queer bars are because also like people forget gay bar owners tend to not have the same wealth that like people that open a straight bar have. The people that open up some big venue in like Miami that like is gigantic, those people come from the sort of wealth and the funding and all these investors, whereas someone who's trying to open a little gay bar or a mid-sized gay bar, it's a lot harder for them to do that. So like it's a struggle, and I appreciate those that keep trying to do it. But I also am not surprised that the owner of gay bar had multiple locations. A lot of owners have multiples, and it really depends on what makes sense to keep all of them, to end one because it's not doing so well and now it's doing better, and then start another one later. Like DC, the owners of town, one of their bars is called Number 9 because it's the 9th establishment they have, and they're going to open something new later. So you never know for sure what's going to happen.
Well, and social media probably also plays a part because guys are finding other ways to meet instead of going to a bar. So there's also that.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Just saying.
I'm just saying.
I read that somewhere.
Yeah, but Twitter's yet to make me a good cocktail. Well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.